We are live. So let's see. Yeah, we're just coming up on a minute late just because I was adding a couple of links at the last moment to my video description here. As opposed to waiting until after the fact, I figured I'd go ahead and put the links in there just in case some folks want to follow them now. So let me get in here to the chat. This is a spur-of-the-moment broadcast. I just set up the event like less than 5 minutes ago, and so obviously this was spur of the moment. And before I go any further, let me turn on my background lights, because once again I forgot to put them on. There we go. And I want to thank the folks at Timeless Razor for helping me get this great shave I got today. I use this Timeless razor right here. This is the stainless steel model. I also have their bronze model. I like the stainless steel one because it has the longer handle. I don't know if you can order the bronze one with this longer handle or not. And I like the texture to this handle too. So I use this one more often than the bronze one. The bronze one is actually in my shower at all times, and I shave with it when I'm in the shower. I really like shaving in the shower. It's real easy to get a great shave for some reason in the shower with all that steam and everything. Got one of those fog-free mirrors in there that that helps with that sort of thing. So what we're going to talk about, and we don't have very many people in yet. Of course, this was not set up in advance, so a lot of folks probably don't know that I was going to go live. But I got some questions on the last video where we were talking about shoes, and I got some other comments on Facebook, and then I've had some comments on some previous videos about, you know, why are you talking about something other than watches? I guess people just thought that this was just a watch channel, that that's all we talked about was stunners like this Grand Seiko Spring Drive titanium unit, or this stunning 18 karat gold dress watch that I wear for dress purposes. I guess they thought that's all we were going to talk about. Great, Craig, great restaurant video. Bill, that's a good, to bring that up, that's good. And I guess I should call you Dudley. But anyway, that's a perfect point. I mean, I do other things other than just talk about watches. I promote a lot of small businesses. And that was a good example, the Hoffman's Market video that I did to promote their sub sandwiches and all that. They were having trouble competing with the Sheets, which is at the interchange of 550 and Route 15 outside of the town of Thurmont. A lot of people were going to the Sheets to buy their sub sandwiches instead of going to this old mom and pop market that's a little bit off the highway right into town. You know, it's still only a half mile off the highway, but it is off the highway. So anyway, we did that video, and it's really helped their business. It's let a lot of people know that you can get a much better sub at that place than you could ever get at Sheets. So it's really helped them out. So I like to be able to help people out. And when I do the product reviews on my channel, and I talk about things like the shoes, I'm not doing this to insult my viewers. I'm not giving them information that would be easy for them to get. That would be insulting their intelligence. If I was talking about something that's just obvious, right, then why bother? You already know that. What I try to share is information about things that might be a little more obscure, that might be a little more difficult to find. For example, the shirt that I'm wearing right now. This is made of Egyptian cotton. This is one of the shirts that Banana Republic was selling many, many years ago when they were a mom-and-pop place out of San Francisco. They sold some high-quality safari-type clothing, camera bags. I have several camera bags that were actually made by Billingham in England for Banana Republic. But the ones that they had spec'd out and made in some ways were better than the ones that you bought directly from Billingham. So I've got a couple of those bags. And some other things that I bought back in the day. This is probably the late 70s, early 80s. And so these things are kind of obscure. Banana Republic doesn't sell anything like it now, okay? So I talk about things that are unusual that might be kind of hard to get. And this watch falls into that category. A lot of people didn't know about Grand Seiko before I started doing my videos. And now a whole lot more people know about this SPGA 231. Steve has sold a bunch of them to people that have been very pleased with the watches, specifically because of my videos. I mean, he straight up told me that that's why he sold a bunch of this particular model watch. So what I'm trying to do is provide information on things that might be a little more difficult for people to find or to people to know about or whatever. Like, for example, the shoes that I was talking about yesterday, I kept talking about made in USA for some of those shoes because I was trying to make the distinction. Sperry, for example, that makes the Sperry topsiders, they've made some of their shoes in the USA, and they've made a bunch of them not in the USA. Some in Indonesia, some in Vietnam, you know, all over the place, right? So I was specifically talking about the ones made in the USA. And yesterday, some of those that I showed were what they called the Made in Maine collection, which they did a few years back, maybe 3 or 4 years back. They did that for a few years where they made a special collection of shoes that they came back and they made them in Maine like they did back in the day. They made all their shoes in Maine, right? So this was a limited run of shoes that they did, and I think they've stopped doing it, but those shoes are around, and sometimes you can find them new old stock for a fraction of their retail price. There were $300 or $400 new, and you can find them for like $100, $120, sometimes new in the box. I bought several pairs new in the box just so I would have them. So these things, this information, sometimes a lot of people wouldn't know this, right? They just go and buy the one that's made in like Bangladesh or whatever and think it's just as good. No, it's not just as good. I have compared them. I have looked at them. And a lot of these shoes, like for example, the Russell moccasins that I showed yesterday. No, a typical shoe that you will go buy at Walmart or at the department store or whatever is not going to be made to that quality, okay? And so there are things that you can get that are a little bit more obscure, but that I think are worth looking into and figuring out. Because for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I like my feet to be comfortable. I like to have really good shoes on my feet. I walked 8 miles today, okay? And I was wearing a pair of the Made in Maine Sperry's. I was wearing the Captain's, they call it the Captain's, they call it the Captain's Mock or Captain's, anyway, I forget the exact name, but it's Captain something. It's the Made in Maine collection. I've got a video on my channel, so check it out. But there's a method to my madness, okay? I'm not talking about these things just for fun. I'm talking about them because maybe some people might be as obsessed with quality as I am. I am totally obsessed with quality and with getting good value for my money at the same time. I don't like to just spend money just to spend money. That's why I wouldn't pay double retail for a stainless steel Rolex, right? Wouldn't go there, wouldn't do that. I want to get my money's worth as well. So there you go. There's so let's see what else. I'm looking at the comments here. Patrick says, good afternoon. Sandwiches looked awesome. Oh, they are. If you ever come up this way, I'll buy you lunch, Dudley. They're fantastic. Our Wags, Craig, Wrench Gang in here like the olive green shirt. Yeah, I only had a few of them this color. Most of them I bought were the normal khaki color. I had 2 or 3 of them this color. I think this is the last one that I have that's not worn out. I've only got about 2 or 3 of the khaki color ones left that are not worn out. I think I bought a dozen of the khaki color and maybe like half dozen of this color, and I've only got 1 of this left and maybe a couple of the others left that aren't worn out. I've got a few of the Willis & Geiger shirts left too that are not worn out. Willis & Geiger used to make some really high quality safari type clothing here in these United States as well. Don't know that they do anymore. I think they're out of business. But just the fact that some of these companies are out of business doesn't mean you need to give up on it. There is something called eBay, and sometimes you can find these things in exceptional condition, and you can get a deal. Like Bill's Khakis, I keep bringing them up because they make really high-quality khakis, and I think they still do make them in the U.S., but you can easily find them on eBay at a decent buy from time to time. Just do the search and save the search, and then you'll get an email every time a pair your size pops in. And if they're in mint condition, then go ahead and lock and load. I say, Sweden's in the house. Remember when BR used to have Jeeps in the store? Banana Republic, okay. Well, that was after the... I remember back in the day when they didn't have any stores, okay? They had a catalog business, and there was a couple, husband and wife in San Francisco, and they had no store. It was all mail order. And they had that funky catalog that was really cool, and they had really good stuff. So that was when they were the real deal. Craig, how often do you go to the dry cleaners? Almost never, Dudley. I have a big rotation of clothes, so the clothes that I have that require dry cleaning, like my sport coats, for example, my suits and things like that, almost never would they have to go to the dry cleaners. Only if I were to spill something on them or something like that would I have to take them to the dry cleaners. So I have suits that are literally 20 or 30 years old that have never been to the dry cleaners. It's not like I'm out there sweating in my suit, right? So if you take care of them, you shouldn't have to go to the cleaners often. Now the shirts, these go and these get starched. These get laundered and starched. I can usually wear them several times before I have to do that, depending on if it is a hot day and I'm sweating and stuff like that. Then I might get only one wear out of them. But yeah, the shirts do go to the cleaners, and they get what's called laundered and starched. But that's just the cost of doing business. Now occasionally I might have like a sport coat pressed, or I might iron it a little bit myself, like if the lapel gets wrinkled or something. I mean, this is very rarely, because a high-quality suit should hold its shape pretty good. You shouldn't have to do much of that kind of thing. But occasionally I've done a little touch-up with an iron here and there. But yeah, it's no big deal. Johnson Murphy makes some great shoes. They did back in the day. I don't know that they do anymore. I did wear some Johnson & Murphys back in the day. When I say that, I mean 30 or 40 years ago. But I don't know if they make any that are any good now. Rolex Explorer 1 would set it off. There you go. Heck yeah, a Rolex Explorer 1 goes good with almost about everything. Good evening from Cyprus. Check out Filson. Yeah, I have some Filson stuff. I have a bag right over there, a Made in USA, a nice bag from Filson that I did a review on here on my channel. So just search Filson and you'll find that. I think I might have some other stuff from them too. Same here. I'll wear clothes 4 to 5 times and use a lot of cologne. Wash the shirts only when they look like they need it or smell. Yeah, and if you're not sweating that much, they're not going to... And I wear a T-shirt. I always wear a T-shirt underneath, so then you can wear that and change that more often. But yeah, if you're not getting the shirt all sweaty, then it shouldn't be, you know... And cars have air conditioning. I mean, if I'm out and about and it's really hot, a lot of time I'm wearing like a polo shirt or something like that. You know, something that you could just throw in the washing machine. Yeah, so it's not as big an issue. Okay, cotton wear looks great and can be cleaned at home. There you go. I love Filson. Okay, every man should own a nice watch, nice shoes, and a suit. Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing. People talk about dressing casual, and I'm dressing casual right now. So let's say you're wearing a decent shirt that's pressed and starched. You're wearing some nice high-end khakis, like the Bill's khakis I've talked about. And I've got them here on my channel. I think I have a review of them. I know I have them in the in the photos of all the high-end clothing, and I put that link in the description on this video. So you can go there, and I've got pictures of Bill's khakis. So you get a nice pair of Bill's khakis, a nice belt, nice expensive like alligator belt or something like that. Some nice shoes, and yeah, you're good to go. That's what Dudley should look at, is that type of a setup. Good evening from England. I'm in Louisiana next to the equator. Impossible not to sweat buckets. Okay, in the wintertime you're not going to be sweating. It's not that hot in the wintertime there, Dudley. So I'm not buying that. And if it's the summertime, again, wear a nice expensive golf shirt or polo type shirt, and some nice shorts, maybe like some Madras shorts or something like that. Nice high-end shorts with a nice alligator belt. And if you want to wear like some real high-end sandals, you could do that too. I would probably just wear some high-end boat shoes and call it a day. Absolutely. Craig, what is your preferred brand of linen suit for the summer? Well, Oxford makes some real nice summer weight stuff. Oxford. They even make some nice summer weight cashmere, believe it or not. Oxxford. And you can buy like the old Brooks Brothers back in the day. They had some washable suits, believe it or not, that were kind of cool, that were made in the USA, that were good for summer. And like seersucker suits are really cool for the summertime. That would be great for Dudley to get a couple of nice seersucker suits. My gosh, his day date, it would like look stunning. Stunning. 78 right now. Yeah, 78 right now. You could be wearing like a linen suit with a real expensive shirt. Or again, you could be just wearing a nice golf shirt or a nice polo shirt with some nice shorts. There's no excuse to dress like a bum. I don't care what the weather is or whatever. You can, I mean, my gosh, look at any of the classic movies and look at how they dressed, even if they were on the beach or whatever. I mean, they dressed nice. Watch any movie with Cary Grant. You'll get some ideas. Always wear a shirt with a collar when you can. Only wear T-shirts to the gym or to bed. I agree. Yeah, just wear like a polo shirt or a golf shirt. Absolutely. How many times have you seen a gentleman ruin his look by not matching the belt and shoes? Brown shoes, black belt. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's the nice thing about brown, is you can have different shades of brown and you're kind of okay. But if you've got like a black belt and then like brown shoes, yeah. Now I will wear the watch with a black strap with a belt that's brown and brown shoes. I wouldn't go to the trouble of taking the strap off the watch and changing it out. So I wouldn't care to that extent. The brands, Bodega, Banana, okay, make awesome belts and wallets. Okay, I'm not familiar with those, but I'm sure they're probably in Italy. There's a lot of good stuff made in Italy. Absolutely, there are. And again, I've showed you guys this before, but this is my my set on Flickr called Quality Clothing Brands and Accessories. And this is going to have a whole bunch of brand names and different like sport coats, suits, and then there are going to be a whole bunch of accessories. There's some shirts there. There's some ties, even some knives. Of course, my money clip. There's some watches. There's the Bills khakis right there. Those are just a staple for me. I wear those often. You put those with a nice sport coat and you're kind of good to go. You can see there's a nice heavy crocodile belt in that case. And then I've got some belts that are dressier, that are alligator. Then of course you've got your requisite Burberry trench coats, and of course a couple of nice boots. The black ones there are Lucchese. Then of course I showed those boots yesterday, the Limer mountain climbing boots. So yeah, when you're climbing a mountain, that you wear that sort of thing. So you just have the correct clothing for the situation. And there's some bomber jackets. And there again some shirts, and me wearing the Burberry trench coat. There's a cashmere sport coat. A couple of cashmere sport coats. There's one by Hickey Freeman. So you get any of the high-end brands. That's why I put all these pictures in here so you can see what brands I'm talking about. And again, on some of these things, you might have to go vintage. Like Kenneth Gordon, I think they still make their shirts in the USA. And I know Gitman Brothers does because I just bought some. There's the two that I bought the month or so ago. So they still make them in the U.S. These Gitman Brothers shirts. So that's good to know. So some of these things, just because I say that such and such a sport coat is an excellent choice, doesn't mean that if you buy that same brand made today, that it is. You might need to, if they've hoard out their brand and started making them in Mexico with cheap labor and lower quality threads and lower quality everything, then it's not going to be on par with something that they made, maybe back in the day here in the U.S. See. When you make them in the U.S. or in England or in Italy, some of these places where they've been doing it for many years and they really care about quality and they're paying more money for the labor. If they're paying more money for the labor, they're probably also going to pay more money for the thread. They're probably also going to pay more money for the fabric. They're probably going to do everything better. And that has been my experience, that's what happens. You go to these really cheap outsourcing like Vietnam or whatever, or Mexico, Indonesia, the quality tends to go down. Not always, but for the most part, that you can bet that the quality is going to go down. Like, for example, when Sperry started making some of their shoes in Central America, what they did was they actually moved the machines and everything from the factory in Maine down there and set up in Central America. And they were pretty good quality because they're using the same machines and everything. But they had to train new people and all that kind of stuff. And some of those people had been making shoes for years up in Maine and really knew what they were doing. So the quality is not necessarily going to be the same, is all I'm saying. So always look close. Let's see. Why the picture is fuzzy? My picture right now, it looks good on my monitor. I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with the stream. I don't know. I was looking at a leather bag from Frank Clegg. No, I don't know them, but there's a lot of good leather good stuff, like travel bags and things like that. Sometimes you can snag a good one on eBay. Search some of the high-end brands, and I always put like USA after to try to find the ones made in the USA. The only thing that probably isn't a good idea in the rain is don't wear nice expensive shoes because they will look horrible afterwards. No, wear some high-end boat shoes. They can handle the rain. That's why the boat shoes are such a good choice, like the ones I showed yesterday. Go back to yesterday's show if you didn't see that. For example, those Russell moccasins that I showed, you could wear them on an African safari, for gosh sakes, and they'd look fine. They're going to hold up great, just like this watch will hold up great. The nice thing about having a white or black dial bracelet watch is you can match with basically any color. Started my own business so I didn't have to wear a suit or uniform, LOL. I love living in shorts and t-shirt in Florida. Okay, so when I was in Florida, and when I go down to Florida, I'm usually wearing a swimsuit pretty much all the time, and it's always, though, a high-end swimsuit. Okay, very high quality swimsuit. And then if I'm wearing a shirt, again, You can wear a polo shirt or golf shirt or something with a nice collar. It can still look classy, so you can still step up the look. You don't have to look like a bum just because you're in Florida. Let's see here. What's your thought on Archie Luxury's frayed dress shirt look? Hey, if that's what he's got, hey, you might as well get as much use out of him as you can. What brand is good for turbans? I'm not sure. Don't know if you remember Copper. They made high-end leather. Cooper. Yes, they did. They still might. Why you wear Seiko? Are you poor? Grand Seiko. Because again, this channel is all about quality and having the best. I wanted the best sport wristwatch that I could get, and this happens to be it. This is the SBGA 231. So if you want the best, go ahead and look it up. You can't do it better from a standpoint of a sport watch, everyday sport watch. This is the top of the heap. Tenzel, you better show some respect to Craig. Well, if he starts trolling, we will block him. The Wrench Gang will probably take care of him if he starts trolling. Was good to hear you quite like the Tudor Pelagos. Well, I'm not sure I said I quite like it. I'm not sure I said that. I wouldn't buy one personally, so there's that. Johnny Oakland. Okay. My streaming box says we are live. I don't know what happened. I had to restart the Video Pro. Let me know in the chat if we are back live. This has happened a couple times with the Video Pro. Not often, but occasionally it'll just take a poo-poo and stop streaming. There's that. And Steve just bought one of these boxes. Oh well. Still don't know a way to get a better quality stream. This streams at 1080p at 5.3 megabits per second, so it's a pretty good quality stream. Yeah, it wasn't the internet connection, Johnny. It was the Video Pro that took a dump. Okay, let me get to the comments here, because we're going to assume that we're back online until I hear otherwise in the chat. Hello from Atlanta, but currently, okay, I already read that. Okay, high-end bags, we're going to talk about that. Hugo Boss and Gant are clothes that fit me well. Maybe not of the absolute best quality, but they are modern and sporty, and the ladies like, okay, if the ladies like them. Trust me, they like a cashmere sport coat too. They put their arms around you and they feel that cashmere, they go crazy. Does he look poor? Get real, Jarvis says. When I was playing QB at Ohio State, the girls wore short, skimpy shorts and mid-cut shirts. Well, there you go, Johnny. I wear Speedos whenever I feel like, and no one messes with me if I walk down the street with Speedos. Everyone. Well, here's the thing, Dan. Speedo also makes regular style-looking swimsuits, not just those ones that are real tight-fitting and real small. They make normal, and that's what I buy, the swimsuits that look like shorts, but I usually buy the ones made by Speedo because, again, I want the high-end ones. They hold up a lot better. The elastic lasts longer and all that. Tudor broke the live stream. That's what happens when Craig mentions Chuda. He means Tudor. I cyber hack. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody cyber hacked. Okay. What's the point of the straps on your shoulders? Those are called epaulets. Epaulets. You can use them to hold like if you have a gun ammo strap, you can use them to anchor that so it doesn't fall off your shoulder, right? You can use them for various purposes. It's called an epaulet. Epaulet. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But anyway, it is what it is. Just a lot of safari shirts have them. They're functional and they do look kind of cool. So there's that. Craig, do you wear cardigans? I'm a fan. Occasionally. not often. Okay, let's talk about the bags real quick because I went and grabbed them. Here's one. Okay, so this one is made by Colonel Littleton, and it is in Linville, Tennessee, United States of America. And one trademark of his bags is he has the bar across the back that he attaches the strap to with nice brass hardware, and this handle is also attached to that. So that's kind of a theme on some of his bags, and it really holds up well. And of course he uses really high quality leather, very, very high quality construction. This particular bag I use to carry my iPad in, and there's the keyboard for it. And then I've got like a wireless microphone and a tripod mount and things like that, just in case I want to impromptu shoot a video when all I have is my iPad in this bag and I don't have my other, camera gear. So that's the bag I use. So this is like what I call my iPad kit, if you will. Then I like to have everything in its own kit. Okay, this bag here was made, I believe, in Washington State. It's also made in the USA. It's called a heirloom messenger bag, and I think it's made by a company called the Leather Company or something. But if you search heirloom, Heirloom, is it? Anyway, heirloom, like something you pass down through the generations. Heirloom messenger bag. It comes in different sizes, and again, very high quality hardware, very high quality stitching. Very heavy zipper here on the back. This is the bag I use to carry my laptop, my 13-inch MacBook Pro. And then in here I've got all the stuff that I would carry with that. And I think I have a video, I know I have a video of this bag showing all the stuff that's in it. I like to have a bag that I can just kind of grab and go, and I know all my stuff is in there and it's ready to go. So that's that bag, and that is literally made to be handed down from generation to generation. It says they're right there, made in the USA. So both of those bags, in my opinion, are better made than like if you bought like a Hartmann bag or a Louis Vuitton bag, right, and paid a lot more money. These bags are probably better made and will probably last a longer time. So it isn't all about just paying for the name. It's about what you get when you pay. At least that's the way I look at it. We got a super chat. Ooh, look at that. Sir Craig, you strike me as a Jekyll and Hyde type of character. Not sure what you mean by that. I'm pretty consistent, actually. Somebody else said I was boring. I was so consistent. So, do you have the Indiana Jones bag too? I have a bag that's similar to the bag he carried. That was a gas mask bag. I have one similar to that that's in my car that I keep a kit in there. That's in my car at all times. Yeah, I have one similar, but I think it was the one I have is like a German gas bag that has leather on the bottom. It's a little better made than the one that Indy carried. But it was basically a World War II gas mask bag. Let's see here. Is a snowflake too much watch in a dodgy part of the world? Should I wear a swatch shitter instead? Great streams, by the way. Well, it depends on how dodgy the part of the world is. Yeah, I would feel nervous wearing any expensive watch if I thought that I was really going to be at risk because of it. That's no fun. It's no fun to be wearing something and have to be worried about getting stabbed. So, for example, the first trip I took to Russia, I knew I was going to be going to some dodgy areas. I wore a Timex Ironman. Remember those back in the day? I think they probably still make them, but this would have been in the early 90s. I mean, not early 90s, late 90s. late 90s, when I made my first trip to Moscow. I wore a Timex Ironman. I mean, I had other expensive watches I could have worn, but that's what I wore because I didn't know how dicey it would be. Now that I made 2 more trips after that, and I wore more expensive watches, maybe like $1,000 watch on those trips, I still didn't wear like a $5,000 watch. So, yeah, that's a hard question to answer. It depends on how dodgy the area is where you're going, I think. Craig, when everything you wear is cool, it's not cool. I don't think that makes any sense. Again, my goal is to not buy anything that isn't of really high quality and that meets the need that I'm buying it for. I have too much stuff around here. I've got a guest suite that is piled up full of stuff that I'm trying to get rid of, right? I get stuff sent to me for reviews and stuff, and some of it's junk, and I just don't want junk around, right? So when I buy something, I try to get really high quality. If it's whether it's a bag, whether it's a suit, whether it's a shirt, whatever it is, I want to get something that's of really high quality. Again, not overpaying, not just paying for a name, paying for real quality. I want to make that distinction clear. I don't just buy on name. Sometimes the name comes along with the quality. But, you know, like for example, buying this Grand Seiko spring drive. You know, there are a lot of people that say, why would you buy a Seiko? Why would you spend that much money on a Seiko? Buy a Rolex. It's ridiculous, right? Blah, 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 blah. They make all these arguments, right? Well, I bought it because it's a better watch. You know, full stop. I could have bought either. No problem. I've got an AD here that I love, that I've bought Omegas from and I bought a Rolex from in the past. I could have gone right down there and bought a Rolex. I would have bought like something that is in stock. I wouldn't have bought like, you know, these watches they're paying too much money for anyway. I would have bought like a Datejust or a Date-8 or, you know, that would have been something in stock anyway, what I would have bought. But I bought this, okay? So I buy for quality. Name is secondary. If the name comes along with it, like if I buy a Gitman Brothers shirt, like that shirt, that's a good name. That's a good name manufacturer. They're in Pennsylvania. They make good shirts, right? But you can buy a Turnbull and Asher shirt and pay 3 or 4 times as much money as that Gitman, and I don't think you're going to get a better shirt. Shirt's going to be made in England. It's going to say Turnbull and Asher on it, but I don't think it's going to be a better shirt than that Gitman Brothers shirt. I know it's not because I've got both. Let's see. It's kind of crazy how man bags have become so popular. Well, actually, Dan, having bags for your gear has always been popular. I mean, it's been the way that I've done for 50 years, right? If you look at any old movie, you look at when people traveled, right? Look at the movie Titanic. The people pulled up, they had all these bags. Like they had a ton of bags, right? They had them all piled on the car, and they had like an extra car, and they had trunks. Remember the steamer trunks they had when they traveled? Those were all bags, and they had purpose-built bags like for different things, to carry different things. Like for camera gear, you have purpose-built bags to carry different gear, right? I mean, when you travel, one of the things that's important is protecting whatever it is you're traveling with, whatever gear and equipment and clothing and whatever. You don't just sling it over your arm and carry it loose, right? You got to carry this stuff in some kind of bags. And so having the correct bags to carry your gear has been going on for thousands of years. It's not a new thing. So that's the deal. Let's see. You're absolutely not boring, Craig. You are an inspiring person. Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. What was your career for the past 30 years? If you go to my website, CraigShipp.com, it has some information about different things that I've done. The last 20 years, I would describe myself as being in the internet business. anything that's internet related, from buying up domain names in the early days and reselling some of them, to developing websites, to the community websites that I have now that, like, for example, Frederick.com is one of the websites that has hundreds of local businesses that sponsor it. That's kind of what I've been doing. And part and parcel to that has been a lot of photography and video work for small businesses and things like that. So I've done, I think video and photography and all that is a very important part of the internet, right? Content is king. Have you ever heard that saying? Content is king. So I generate a lot of content, product reviews, different things like that. And of course, I have a lot of investments, and the investments have paid off well. Why do you tell people not to buy more than a couple of watches when you have lots of bags, luxury shoes, camera gears, expensive watches, whip, etc.? Very good question, Tom. Very good question. Okay. Here's the deal. Let's take shoes. Let's take these one at a time. Let's take the shoes. Shoes, high-quality shoes. When I got my first pair of shoes when I was selling cars back in the day when I was 18 years old, I got my first pair of nice quality shoes. And one of the older salesmen there told me, he said, listen, here, it's very important. Don't wear the same pair of shoes every day. You'll wear them out a lot quicker because they don't have time to breathe in between wearing them. It's just not good for a high-quality shoe to wear the same shoe every day. He said, for example, he has a 5-pair rotation, so he wears a different pair every day, Monday through Friday, and then repeats the next week, right? So he has a 5-pair shoe rotation for his work. So he instilled that on me. And so I do that now. I have basically, about a 20 shoe rotation. So I wear the same pair of shoes. If you look at Monday through Friday, I would only wear the same pair of shoes once a month, right? So that is rotating the wear and tear on the shoes, so the shoes last a lot longer. You're mixing it up, and so on. Now, a watch, there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to rotate these watches because they're going to last many decades. If you wear it every day, this watch is going to last me decades, okay? No problem. I'm not going to wear it out. Same thing with a Rolex. My Rolexes I wore pretty much every day. I usually had a 2-watch rotation, and I wore them every day, so I wanted to keep them running. I didn't want them to stop, right? So I rotated them. During the day, I'd be wearing like the day date, and then when I got home, I'd put on the GMT2 and wear that, and wear it through the night and all that, and then repeat the process. So at most, you want about a 2-watch rotation so you can keep them both running. But they're going to last decades. Now, clothing, high-end clothing, let's say sport coats, suits, same thing. If you have 6 nice sport coats, you can rotate those, and so you're spreading out the wear and tear. They're going to last a lot longer, and you're going to be able to mix it up. You're not going to be going into work every day wearing the same coat, right? So there is a benefit in high-quality clothing not wearing it every day. It's going to last a lot longer, and you're going to be able to rotate what you're wearing. So you can't really compare clothing to watches from that standpoint. And also, if they're expensive watches, you're tying up a lot of money in something that is, generally speaking, going down in value. Don't trust these people that say they're investments and they're going up in value, because for the most part, they don't. So you're tying up a lot of money that could be making you money, right? And the only reason to buy the nice suits and sport coats is if you're wearing them in a business environment or in some kind of a situation where you're making money with them. If you're not doing anything positive out there and making money, then go ahead and wear a worn-out T-shirt and a worn-out pair of shorts and sit at home and watch TV. You can do that in anything, right? But if you're going out there and you're making deals and you're wheeling and dealing and you're making things happen and you're in motion, a lot of times it's been my experience that it helps to dress nicely, to dress well. That's been my personal experience. Now, it may vary with you, but that's been my experience. Now, let's see what else. Oh, bags. You also mentioned bags. Okay, so that's another good thing. I mean, I buy a bag, like I have a Amabilia aluminum case that is specifically set up to carry my Sony camera gear. My camera body, my lenses, my things that go along with my A7S Mark II kit, right? So when I go on a shoot or something like that, depending on what I'm taking to that shoot, I can quickly put all the gear into that bag, close it up, and take it with me. I've got a big case that carries all my lighting equipment. Not all of it, but you know, the heads and the flash units and the, you know, all the stuff that makes up that camera lighting equipment, right? So if I know I'm going somewhere where I need lighting, I'll grab that whole thing, and it's got wheels, you know, and you can wheel it along, right? So each case that I have has a purpose. It's not just bought just for fun. Again, the bag I just showed you for my MacBook Pro, it has a purpose. When I put the MacBook Pro in there, I already know I've got everything in there that I need to go. I've got the power cords, I've got all the things I need are in that bag. I'm not going to get on site and all of a sudden figure out that I'm missing something, right? That's the purpose of having these bags specifically for different gear, right? Now, some of them I might not use that often, but when I do use it, it's pretty critical that I have it. Otherwise, there's going to be a misstep, and that misstep is going to cost me money, maybe even cost me a client. So, yeah, it's not for fun that I do all this stuff. There's a reason. Now, as far as the whip, yeah, that was superfluous. I mean, why did I have to buy the whip that Indiana Jones used? I just bought that for fun. So some things I buy just for fun, and some things I probably wouldn't do over again. I don't know that I'd buy that again. It's kind of fun to have it, you know, in case somebody gets out of line around here. You know what I'm saying? But some things are frivolous. Frivolous. I said superfluous. I should have said frivolous. I'm the same way, Craig. I also like to have high-quality goods. We're in total agreement. Yankee Doodle, there you go. If you buy junk, you'll always have junk around you. If you buy good stuff, you'll always have good stuff around you. I'm currently wearing a Rolex sub-date pre-ceramic on my wrist with Echo waterproof boots on my feet. There you go. Let's show that comment. That was hidden for some reason. I love Clive. Well, there you go. I'm currently... okay, I already read that. I do not like swimsuits on men or women. Everyone should skinny dip. Well, there you go. Let's see. I think I got a text. Let me just see if this... Make sure this isn't something urgent. In other words, somebody that wants to give me money. Oh, it wasn't a text. Interesting. Oh, no. I did get a text, yeah. Okay. Somebody said outstanding. That's good. Oh, I got a one-word text, outstanding, with regard to something I did earlier. So that's good. I like to hear outstanding from a client. What's the shirt brand you're wearing, please? I went to Fredericks.com. No, it's not Fredericks.com. It's Frederick.com without the S. And it's not that beautiful site. It's kind of an older design, but it's designed to promote all the local businesses here in Frederick County. Yeah, Fredericks is, I think, Fredericks of Hollywood, isn't it? All the lingerie and all that. No, that's not it. What's the brand you're wearing, the shirt brand? This is, again, this is going to be hard to find. This is a safari shirt from Banana Republic from many, many years ago. They don't sell them now anymore. But this is basically an Egyptian cotton. If you search Egyptian cotton safari shirt, you'll probably find a bunch of them that companies that may still make them. Willis and Geiger used to make them. So if you can find any by Willis and Geiger, that would work. But anything that's Egyptian cotton, safari shirt, should be good. And somebody asked about the pen. I've got the, this is the DuPont. I usually carry this. This is a DuPont pen. I've gotten really good results. They've never leaked on me. You know, you ever carry a cheaper pen, sometimes they'll leak and ruin a shirt. That's not good. Let's see. Craig, why must quality be measured by price? Keep saying high-end. Seems to equate the two. No, you see, yeah, that's a perfect, very good point. Very good point. Here's the deal. I was a professional appraiser for many years back in the day. And I just became obsessed with, I was appraising antique and classic cars, with examining the work on the chrome, if something had been re-chromed or if it had been repainted. You know, is there like a little bit of overspray on whatever, right? Is there dirt in the paint? You know, I was just obsessed with examining and determining quality. And that obsession also went to the clothes I was wearing and just everything that I was doing. I just liked quality. Price is immaterial. Price is secondary, okay? So here's what you do. First, you determine what's a really high quality. When I say high end, I'm talking about high quality. I'm not talking about just high price. I'm talking about superlative quality is what I mean by high end. If you can find a high-end item, now a lot of the times it is going to be expensive. It might not be the most expensive, but a lot of times it might be expensive as well because people have acknowledged that it's high quality. So the price is starting to reflect that, right? Not always, but, you know. So first you determine what you want, okay? Okay, I want this particular pair of shoes made by this particular company at this particular point in time. I've determined that this is a really high quality shoe, all right? Then once you've determined what you want and that it's the quality that you want, then you start worrying about, now how do I get the best price on that? Do I get the best price on that by waiting for a sale, waiting for the company selling it to have some kind of a promotion? Like Colonel Littleton, sometimes he'll have sales where he's trying to get rid of some things that maybe he made too many of something or whatever. He'll have, you go to his website, he has like a clearance section. So sometimes maybe you'll get a deal, right? Alden shoes, I mean, sometimes they might have something on clearance or whatever. You might even get something where there's a little blemish that's no big deal and it doesn't bother you, but you get a big deal. Like Allen Edmonds has that sometimes on some of their shoes. So price becomes after you've determined what you want. Now all of a sudden I try to figure out, okay, what's the best price I can get it for? Can I find one on eBay if it's a bag like this or something that somebody bought and they decided they don't like it or whatever and it's almost mint condition and they're selling it for half what they paid for it? Can I snag it that way? Do I get lucky and find it at a thrift store? Let's say it's a high-end shirt. Let's say it's a Gitman Brothers shirt and it's my size. It's 1633. And it's in mint condition, and I can buy it at a thrift store for $3, and it's a $200 shirt. Okay, I'm going to buy it for $3, right? So price is after you've determined what you want. And if what you want is broad enough, let's say you have 4 or 5 different manufacturers of sport coats that you want to buy. I want to buy a cashmere sport coat. And you're looking at Hickey Freeman, you're looking at H. Freeman and Sons, you're looking at Oxford, you're looking at Hart, Schaffner and Marks. You're looking at some high-end brands, and you want 100% cashmere, and you want made in the USA. Okay, well, I can do some searches on eBay. I can put in Oxford, you know, let's say I wear a 41 regular, and I can put cashmere. And I can save that search, and then I'll get an email every time somebody lists something that matches that criteria, and maybe I can snag something. Maybe I can snag a $3,000 sport coat for $40. Okay, so the price that you pay for the thing doesn't matter. What matters is what you're getting. if that makes any sense. If that makes any sense. I'll wear a different pair of shoes today and make things happen at work. There you go. Do you prepare your clothes the night before you wear them? It's interesting you ask, because my Bill's khakis are laying right over there with the belt in them and all my stuff in the pockets and all that. And then there's another pair of pants next to them with, I'm like a fireman, right? I've already got the belt in them and everything. So all I have to do is pull them on and strap them up, and I'm good to go. And I just need to transfer my wallet because I have other stuff in both, right? They're all ready to go. So, yeah, I'm a nutcase when it comes to efficiency sometimes. And I got all my clothes organized. Like I've got all my Oxford sport coats together, all my Oxford suits together. And so I can quickly and easily grab what I want and go. Yeah. You get what you pay for. Well, Tanzeel, sometimes you can get more than what you pay for if you're smart and sharp and you get a good deal. Are Allen Edmonds best dress shoes dollar for dollar? Chris, that's a really good question. If you get a deal on them, especially if you get something on sale, I think you're really doing good. I like Alden. I think Alden are a little better. They are a little more expensive, but I think they're both pretty good. Allen Edmonds, I think some of his are made in Mexico or in Central America or not. I don't think they're all made in the USA anymore. Some are. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with all this stuff. Some of these brands are whoring out their name, if you ask me. There are Hong Kong, I guess you meant, suits, which are as fine as anything made elsewhere, and they use top fabrics. Maybe. But it's hard to beat Oxford. Oxford sport coats or suits. It's really hard to beat those from a standpoint of they hold up a long time. They're really well made. They're pricey. But like I say, if you get lucky, you find them on eBay and get a good price. The key measurement is the shoulder from seam to seam. Like I wear anywhere from a 40 regular to a 41 regular to a 42 regular, depending on the suit and depending on how many push-ups I've been doing, right? I'm starting to do push-ups again, so I'm building up a little more. So some of my suits that fit a little loose, they'll start fitting better, right? So like I've expanded and contracted depending on how many push-ups I do, right? So yeah, if you can figure out the best size as far as that measurement, the shoulder measurement, seam to seam, they can be taken in the waist, right, if they're too loose in the waist. And also the length of the jacket. You want the length of the jacket to be what you want. I don't like these real short, the styles they have now where they're real short and they're real tailored, they're real tight. And all, I think they look like they're like a couple sizes too small. So that I don't like that look. But, I mean, if you like that look, you can go for that. But I like the more classic style. I go to Eddie Bauer every New Year's and buy quality goods for half price. Again, I think Eddie Bauer, I think they've offshored a lot of stuff, and I don't think the quality is what it used to be. Be careful. Look at those photos I put together. You won't see any Eddie Bauer stuff in there, I can tell you that right now. Do you think Patek is value for the money? I would, yeah, I don't know about that. My everyday briefcase is a Senzo Italian leather bag, amazing quality. There you go. What do you think of virtual reality, Craig, and do you think it has an important role in the future of video? Will you jump on the train if it comes or commonplace? Well, I usually jump on things before they become commonplace, and I haven't jumped on it, so that might tell you something. No, my next big thing that I'm jumping on, and this will probably be the last big thing of the future that I'm jumping on, is Bitcoin. I've jumped on it big time, and I'm a firm believer. I think it's going to revolutionize the world when it comes to finance and money and all those good things, and it's a huge, huge market. So I think that's the sleeper of the century. On the gray market, you can get handcrafted, beautiful Pateks at a good price. Usually they stabilize after the initial depreciation. It doesn't matter if they hold their value, guy, if you're not making significant money. Remember, your money that's invested should double every 7 years. So if you invest $10,000 today, 7 years from now it should be $20,000. 7 years later it should be $40,000. That's what we call the power of compound interest. Just because it's held its value or maybe gone up a little bit doesn't mean that you're doing well. It means you got fleeced. Okay? You got screwed. Archie called Craig a puckaroony with poor taste in wristwatches at today's show. I disagree with Archie. Archie's a funny guy. Is it the whip from the actual movie? That's pretty sweet. It was made by the same guy, but no, it's not the actual whip, but it was made by the same guy who made the whips. So it's exact. I mean, it's the same whip. He made several different lengths. Mine, I think, is the 8-footer. He made one that was 6.5, 8. I think he made one that was like 13 foot or something. The one that they used when he was swinging across. That was a real long one. You can read up on him. There's a whole write-up on indiegear.com. Who makes the best silk pajamas? I think you cannot go wrong with Sulka and Company. S-U-L-K-A. S-U-L-K-A. They make some really good pajamas. I had a pair, but mine were cotton, but they also make silk. Thanks for your inputs. What time do you wake up every morning, and do you French press your coffee? I don't drink any coffee. I usually don't get up until maybe 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not an early morning person. I try to get at least 8 hours of sleep every night. I don't always succeed, but I try to get 8. Archie is a foul-mouthed turd. Can't stand watching as he yells, shoves his face into the camera, and uses the word every few seconds. He's funny. Yeah, I'm not going to show that message, but you're right. But I'm not going to show it just because this is a family-friendly channel. Hey there, Blue Shirt Buddha. Okay. Craig, would you get a 15-year-old Bentley for $60K? No, because I don't want the service and repair costs and all that. I would much rather have a Lexus sedan. Like, get yourself a Lexus LS sedan, 15 years old. That would be a really smart move. Get a garage-kept, one-owner, cream puff with less than 100,000 miles on it, and you'd have a car, Chris, that you could drive forever. And it probably won't give you any trouble at all. And they're fantastic. I had a 2002 LS 430 Lexus sedan, 2002, that I bought new. That was a fantastic car. The only reason I got rid of it is I ended up getting the Prius because I needed something to put the Segway in the back of. And I couldn't, it was too heavy for me to load and unload the Segway out of the trunk of the Lexus. Say, put Lexus in the chat if you want me to show you a photo of my Lexus. I'll show you a photo of it if you want to see it. Just put yes, put Lexus in the chat if you want to see it, and I'll dig up a photo. When using a public restroom, I find it appropriate to take all your clothes off and hang them on the back of the stall door. Okay. I just checked out Frederick.com. Very cool site. Yeah, we're actually in the process of totally rebuilding it because it is a pretty old design, but it gets the job done for the local businesses. They like it. And we got hundreds of them that pay to sponsor it. They pay an annual fee. I hear you. I just got home from JAWRB. Okay. Craig, who makes the best tactical vest? Check out Nut and Fancy's channel. He's really good. I don't know if you know him. He's a retired colonel from the Air Force. Nut, N-U-T-N as in Nancy, Fancy, Nut and Fancy. That's his YouTube channel. I'm sure he has some reviews on those. He's got a lot of reviews on tactical stuff. I used to watch a lot of his videos. Going to work, thanks. Catch you on the next one. Thanks, Tom. I just purchased a sport jacket at Saks Fifth Avenue off 5th for $385. List price was $599. There you go, Yankee Doodle. And they, again, they always sold some really good stuff, but watch it on some of those, you know, even high-end stores like that are selling a lot of outsourced stuff now. So you got to be careful. Just because it's Saks Fifth Avenue doesn't mean it's all that. You're right, Craig. I purchased a brand new Gucci bag on eBay for $100 and it cost $1,200 brand new. But it was super low. Well, see, Dan, that's the thing. A lot of this stuff depreciates like crazy. Clothing items depreciate like crazy. There's a Burberry trench coat on eBay right now, 42 long. It's got the full liner. It's got the expensive belt. You can tell that it's the high-end one because it's the all cotton, and the belt has the multiple lines of stitching. That's a telltale sign that it's the high-end jacket, a coat, I mean. Those are a couple of grand new, at least $2,000 new, maybe more than that. And it's $430 or something, and the guy says it's never been worn. So here's a $2,000 coat for $400 and some odd dollars, never been worn, right? So somebody took a bath on that thing, and it might end up selling for only $200 or something. He might not get that price, right? So yeah, clothing, bags, a lot of this stuff we're talking about depreciates like crazy. So you can snag it. You can get yourself a deal. How do you know if it's authentic? That's a good question. Well, you better buy from a trusted seller. And if it's not authentic, force them to take it back. eBay has buyer protection. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of this stuff, it's just going to be obvious if it's a fake. If it's such a good fake that it looks real and it's as good a quality, then who cares, right? If it's a bag and everything's right, everything's correct, everything's brass, it should be brass, it's got heavy stitching, everything's well done, it is what it is. But if it's a piece of crap that somebody's passing off as real, I'd make them eat it. I'd return it. I've been real lucky stuff I bought on eBay. I haven't bought that much, but the things I have bought on eBay, I've been very, very pleased. I bought a couple of Halliburton bags, camera gear bags, I mean cases, aluminum, you know, the Halliburton. I bought a couple of them brand new old stock that I got a really good buy on. I even bought an Amabilia case, and those are really high-end on eBay. So, and it's perfect. It was a nice small case. It was just the right size for me to put my audio gear in, my MVI mixer and that, what I call my MVI mixer kit. I'll get that and I'll show it to you here in a minute. Now that's a perfect example of having a particular kit, a particular case for, you know, for a kit. It came with all the invoice bag. The guy didn't know anything about it. He got it for his birthday and never used it. New old stock. That's what I'm talking about. I couldn't really believe it when I won. I was thinking maybe to sell it and make money from it. I've kept it. That's the thing. These things don't hold their value that well. You should rename your channel Craig Luxury. LS460, you can't beat that car. See, I had the LS430. Still was a very good car. Yeah, a friend of mine just bought an LS460. And you can get a good deal on them because nobody wants sedans. They all want these SUVs, and I'd rather have the sedan. It drives and rides and handles much better than an SUV. It's all like, you know, rolls and everything all over the road. Those LS sedans are fantastic. All right, I'll show you a picture of the Lexus, and then I will I'll show you the The little kit, the little amabilia case. It's cool. It is cool. Okay. So this is how committed I am to my business. I buy a brand new LS 430 and I letter it up. Notice I've got airyguides.com. That's my main company. And then I've got Frederick.com on the front fender there. And there's the sign guy. There's me picking it up at the sign guy with the paper tag still on it. He said, I can't believe you're doing this to a Lexus LS 430. I said, the company paid for the car. I might as well get some advertising out of it. So that's how we roll. There's the sign guy that did the sign work. They were a sponsor also. There it is before the lettering. And there's a sign in the mall advertising our business. Frederick.com, right in the mall. There you go. So that's the name of that tune. Let's see. Hi, I'm here now. Okay, we can start the show. JMG's here. A Yankee Doodle recently purchased a 2016 Volkswagen Touareg. Yeah, that's the big monster, right? That's a real cool, like off-road. That's sort of like a Range Rover. I think that's what it is. If that's what it is, those are cool. Agreed. eBay's amazing. Maybe not so much for the seller because of fees, but you do snatch up bargains. Yeah, you just got to be picky. You got to be picky and know what you're looking for. But some of the stuff we've been talking about, perfect examples of where you can get a deal. Because people, you know, he's like, well, I don't dress up anymore. I don't wear sport coats. I don't wear suits. So I mean, it's a buyer's market. You know, there can be a high-end bespoke suit that just happens to be your size, if they give all the measurements and all that, right? If it just happens to be your size and you can snag it for like $50 and somebody spent like $5 grand on it, that's okay. All right, I'm going to go get the little case. This is a cool little case. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So, this is a perfect example of good evening, gentlemen. I bought a Seiko Kinetic on eBay this week for $50. There you go. All right, so here we go. This is made by Amabilia. Look at the high-quality hinges on it. It's a aluminum, you know, hard aluminum. Nice catches on the front. And this is specifically designed for my audio kit. This is where the Mix Pre-6 recorder mixer goes. It's sitting right there. I'm actually using it for my audio right now, so that's why it's not in the case. And here's my headphones, my cables, my batteries, powers. So when I go where I need my field recorder, I just put it in this case, close it up, and that's it. I'm on my way. And this thing's all waterproof and all that, and very rugged, very high quality handle. Amabilia makes some really good cases. And I put my Sound Devices sticker on there, and of course my Frederick.com sticker on there. And nice heavy-duty case for a particular purpose. So see, when I go on a shoot and I need that audio gear, it's right there. And then I've got another case. Might as well go all the way with this. Let me show you the other case that I carry along with that. Okay. All right. This is going to be kind of awkward to show this one because it's a little heavier. But here's this is a Halliburton, and this is actually an original Halliburton from Los Angeles, from when they made them in California. These are pretty rare. But later, Zero Corporation bought Halliburton. It became Zero Halliburton, right? But here, in this case, I have, it's kind of hard to see, but I've got 4 different cases here with microphones in them. So I have 4 lavalier mics in here, and then I have 4 XLR cables, and then I have 2 SM58s and 2 SM57 mics. So this is the rest of this audio kit that I will bring if I'm using a wired setup, along with the recorder, the other kit that I showed you. So I would grab both of these, and then if I'm using wireless mics, I have another kit that has all the wireless mics in it if we're going wireless. I like to do wired whenever I can, depending on the circumstances. If I can do wired, I'll do wired. So anyway, I can grab these 2 cases, and then, you know, whatever other camera gear I'm bringing, and then I'm good to go. So that's, excuse me, that's a perfect example of having a kit organized, ready to go, so you can just grab it, go to the shoot, do what you do, and then once I'm finished, I pack everything back up in the case and go back. That way everything's organized, you know you got what you need, and you're there. Okay, so I purchased a Canali Sport Jacket on eBay for $150. Turned out to be fake. I returned it for a full refund. There you go. Absolutely. By Rimowa. Yeah, I have some Rimowa bags. They're not as high quality as Amabilia. Amabilia, they're out of Italy. They're a step up. Rimowa is good stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's German, I believe. It's good stuff, but I think Amabilia is a step up. I would show you my Amabilia case, but there's a bunch of stuff. Well, I'll tell you what. I can bring up a photo if I can remember how to spell it. I think that's right. No, that's not right. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. All right, it's Amabilia, A-M-A-B-I-L-I-A. A-M-A-B-I-L-I-A is Amabilia, okay? And this is one of them. I've got 3 different Amabilia cases. This is the one that I use for my Sony gear. I just showed you the small one, the small black one. And then I've got a couple of other ones that are bigger. But these are just really well built. They're out of Italy. And they're pricey. But this one I got on eBay. I mean, in mint condition. And I love it. I don't use it that often. But when I travel and I need to pack up my Sony gear, that's, again, there's the smaller one that I just showed you. And there's one of the bigger ones. Again, Amabilia. Yeah, they make good stuff. No joke. So there you go. It's the kind of stuff you learn about here. You learn about some kind of obscure stuff that otherwise you might not know about. And I've got reviews on the videos on my channel for this Amabilia stuff. I've got videos here. Have a pleasant evening, gentlemen. Okay, I guess the Yankee Doodles, it looks a bit like a bomb bag. Yankee Doodle, you too. Craig, is the Grand Seiko Auto Snowflake worth $5,200 asking price? Well, the Snowflake is going to be a spring drive, and you should be able to get one pretty much in mint condition for $5,200. It should be box papers, everything. You might even be able to get it for $5,000. I love the looks and the specs. Should I pull the trigger on that over a Datejust? I would, if you like the size of it. Have you tried it on? It's not a small watch. I think it's 41 mils. So like for dress purposes, I use this watch because it's can go under a dress cuff very easily. So it really comes down to your use case. If you need something smaller, a 36 mil Datejust is less than 12 mils thick. So if you like the size of the Snowflake, yes, I would give it the nod over the Datejust if the size is okay with you. And for ours, that price, I don't know where you're located, but I would talk to Steve and see if you can buy one brand new for that price, box and papers. I'd certainly give it a shot. Tell him you know me. He might sharpen his pencil. That's Steve at Little Treasury. LittleTreasury.com. He would probably work with you. Craigster, do you work solo on your shootings? Sometimes I have people helping me, but a lot of times it's just me. Rolex Datejust 36 mil smooth measure oyster bracelet, $3,500. That's a nice watch. The smooth bezel scratches easier than the fluted bezel. So if that bothers you, I'd keep an eye out for one with either the fluted bezel or the engine turn bezel. And the oyster bracelet, personally, I like the Jubilee on the Datejust, personally. But it's okay with the oyster. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It certainly pays to have decent flight cases for your equipment. What sort of field recorder do you use? Tascam or something like that? No, I don't use a Tascam. No, I use a Sound Devices Mix Pre 6. MIXPRE 6. Let me see if I have any photos of it. I know I did a video about it. I love it too. I love it. Of all the equipment that I've purchased, it is probably my favorite piece of kit. There it is in the case that I just showed you. There's the unit sitting there on the left. It's got 4 XLR inputs, combination XLR inputs on it. And I've got it so that it can go on a tripod, and then the camera can mount on top of it if I want to. And then I can just run the feed right from the Mix Pre right into the camera. And so I can record it on the Mix Pre and record it in the camera. And then in post, I can decide if what the camera got was good enough, then I'll go with that. If not, I can pull the audio out of the Mix Pre. And it's got great preamps. It's a really excellent recorder, field recorder. Sound Devices makes the best field recorders. They make all the stuff that the pros use. And this Mix Pre 6 was sort of like a prosumer recorder that they came out with that is, I think, every bit as good as their pro stuff in a lot of ways, in some ways even better, and extremely well made. You will not have any issues with a Mix Pre 6. I think they're around $800 now. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but it's got a built-in limiter, and it's a hardware limiter, not software. It's fantastic. So, all right. Well, I think we've had a good show. I think we've had a productive show, if nothing else. Let me know, folks, if there's anything else that you'd like to cover. I think we got some people that are making some things happen in the chat. I mean, we got some people that are movers and shakers out there. We got some people that are out there making deals. I'm liking that. Somebody just tried to hack into my Twitter. I just got a text for the code, you know. Jeez. These hackers, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Isn't that something? Is it just me, or is the picture fuzzy? I don't know. It says I'm streaming at 1080p, 5.3 megabits per second. My preview monitor looks good, but that doesn't mean anything. So let me know if there are any other questions. Otherwise, we'll let you guys get out there and mix things up, make things happen. Let me know if there are any other questions. And again, we're going to have a show Monday night at 10, Cowgirls Live. Please show your support for Sarah. Joseph A. Bank, quality, good or bad? They used to be okay. They were sort of like a lower line Brooks Brothers. You know, they copied kind of a lot of the stuff that Brooks Brothers did, but they were more affordable than Brooks Brothers. But they had some decent stuff back in the day. I don't think I'd buy any of their stuff now, personally. Chip looks like 3D. Okay. I mean, I have a couple of, I don't think I have them anymore, but I had a couple of Harris Tweed sport jackets that I got at Joseph A. Bank that were okay. I think they were made in USA, but this was a long time ago. I think their quality, just like Brooks Brothers quality, has gone downhill some. So I don't think they're as high quality as they were. It was just a joke. Why wasn't really going to do it, Chris? I don't know what you're saying. Okay. All right, so I guess we're done. I don't see any new questions in the chat. I think we might be done. So at least we got it out there that really the distinction here that I wanted to try to make was what we're trying to do on this channel is talk about the high quality stuff. And again, not with regard to the price. I mean, the price might be high, right? Like the Mix Pre 6 that I just mentioned. It's more expensive than a Tascam recorder, right? It's more expensive than a lot of the consumer grade recorders, but you get a lot more for that money. I mean, it is a fantastic unit. So in some cases, yes, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. In some cases, not so much. I mean, this watch you can buy for less than a sub, and in my opinion, you're getting a better watch in a lot of ways. So in some cases, we're going to be talking about things that you can get for less money and get more for your money. So, but we're very critical about things. We look hard at things before we give it our seal of approval. That's for sure. We are very picky, and if one of these, if that watch right there gave me trouble, you guys would be the first to know that the 9F movement is no damn good. I'd be the first to say it, right? But by all accounts, the 9F is stellar. I mean, it is robust. It is the best quartz movement ever conceived and made by man, and dead accurate. And so, like, again, unless that changes, unless there's something that changes my opinion about that, I'm going to say that the 9F is all that and a bag of chips. And I'm going to say that this particular 18-karat gold dress watch was a hell of a buy for, I think I paid $3,200 for it. It was either $3,200 or $3,300. I bought that on eBay. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up. Wrap it up. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up, and then I got a little thing I got to deal with here. Somebody trying to hack into one of the accounts. Hackers. I think it'd be okay if they just shot hackers on site. Summary execution for hackers. Hackers and people that sell drugs to kids. I think we should have summary execution in this country. Just boom. All right, you were selling drugs to those kids, trying to get them hooked so that they'll die later. Boom. Just like that. I think you'd see the illegal drug sales be curtailed quite a bit. What do you think? You think that would curtail that sort of nastiness? All right, let's stop this broadcast here.